recording this? Okay, we're recording. So I'm going to be discussing, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with the case analysis. I'm also going to really talk about this upcoming this upcoming midterm project, so to speak, which because this is 8 weeks and we're already rolling into the third and fourth week coming up, I'm going to be I'm going to be looking at the going downtown group project and kind of go a little bit more in depth. So I know you guys have questions, but just leave the questions towards the end. Just let me get through the explanation, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, okay? I'm recording this. Those of you watching on the replay, you'll be able to, there'll be a link here to our university YouTube channel. I'm doing it that way rather than having you download the entire file like we did earlier in the semester. It's just a lot easier. So it's a private, I want to stress this. It's a private link. It's an unlisted. It's not public on YouTube. It's a private link. It's just being stored on YouTube. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Give me a Y if that makes sense. I just want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable asking questions and you're not being, you know what I mean? Like your privacy is not being, hey, Gohar, good to see you. Your privacy is not being, make sure that you put to all panelists and all attendees. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that that makes sense. So we can all understand that. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Hello. Good to see you. Okay. Fantastic. Admin. Who's a row fan at CSU? It says admin. Who's that? Who's admin? Hey, Ted in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, again, those of you coming in, make sure that you do the drop-down menu and make sure that you do the drop-down menu and you click on all panelists, all attendees. Okay? Very, very important. Okay. All right. So again, these are the things I want to talk about first. I want to talk about the Going Downtown Group Project, which is due on Sunday, the 24th. I fixed that. That was just a technical error. It said Friday, the 24th. As a matter of fact, I'm going to screen share this right now so we can all see what we're talking about here. Okay. And I don't need this to be shown. Okay. So let me get the chat window there. Okay. So I know it said it's due Sunday 9/24 by midnight. So before it said Friday. Okay, so I changed that. The 24th is actually a Sunday. Okay, so yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that that was understood. This week you have your reading that you should be doing in the book, which helps you with a little bit more on fine-tuning your skills for communication, fine-tuning your strategy, fine-tuning your word choice, fine-tuning what it entails. You guys are all managers. You're all problem solvers in this class. That's the essence of this entire class, okay? And, here's something I really want to explain. So with the case analysis, I know some of you asked me questions, are we supposed to be citing sources? I had a great, talk with a fellow student this over the weekend. So I understand that there are some questions about that. And maybe just really quickly, let me just answer those. So your job, when it says don't repeat case language, what that really entails is your job is to literally comprehend the facts. You need to comprehend the facts, and then you need to put everything in your own words as far as like the strategy goes, the style, the literacy. Again, grammar is really important. You guys should all be taking advantage of the online tutoring center, the Mahalo Tutoring Center. They have tutors that can really help you with your grammar. It's sort of expected at this level, in the 301 level, that you have a certain academic and literacy acumen. But again, I don't want to presume anything, and I want all options on the table. So Your job is to create. It's to create that meaning. And if you go back into course documents, okay, and you look at that case example, here it says example of a case analysis, which this was in the folder for week 1, but it's also, remember, all important documents are always located in course documents, all of them. You need to basically, in a sense, you do need to create. You do need to come up with your own assessment, your own analysis. And the chapters in the book really speak to this. The chapters in the book are really helpful in the sense that it gives you, and I'm going to talk about the case shred in just a second too. It gives you a sort of, a framework of how to approach these issues, how to approach these problems, okay? So with the problem here for Healthy Food Corporation, Diane Adams, the executive assistant, is basically analyzing measures to help employees stop smoking. She's given facts, she's given details, but she has to analyze and assess what would be the best way to come up with a solution to these problems, okay? And it's always written in memo format. Now, I know that's a little bit confusing. I kind of talked about this in the last webinar. I know some of this may seem like rehash, but it's really, really important. When we talk about memos, a memo is like a letter, right? A memo is like a interoffice letter that's sent out. It's written in single space. It's written with a certain style, which if most of you guys took 201, you know what that style is. Follow the 5 steps. Follow this case example. Use the proper headers. Memo format does not necessitate that it's written as a memo, but the format, I know that can be a little bit confusing. It's the format itself is in memo format, but you're not writing a memo. You're always writing a 5-step case analysis. Okay, and you just follow this example. You can also follow, remember, as I showed you last time, our last webinar, okay, you can also follow the 5 steps, the 5-step case analysis method. This is it. Now, you were only required for the first one to do the first couple of steps. Now, Professor Nez, why did you do that? Well, the reason is I wanted to ease you into the process. I wanted to ease you into the whole idea of basically creating meaning from information that's given to you, and you have to do it fast. You only have 2 hours to do that. This is dictated by the department. Do not kill the messenger, okay? This is how the department, has dictated to us as instructors, and we have 0 leeway. Okay, and again, I say you must marry yourself to the rubric. Get down on one knee and say, will you be my lawful, lovely husband or wife or whatever? You got to marry yourself to that rubric. Everything is contingent upon the rubric, okay? Every assignment, including the final. Okay, give me a Y if that makes sense. Does that make sense, everybody? People give me a Y, please. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Make sure if you're chatting, which I really don't want any chatting right now. I want to save. But make sure you put all panelists and attendees in the chat box. There's a little blue bubble, and I want you to click on that and then put, all panelists and all attendees, okay? All right. Does that make sense? Okay, fantastic. That's all you need for the entire course. That's it. That's all you need. Now, the case shred, I've been getting a lot of questions. Is the case shred different from the case analysis? I know some people joined the class a little bit late. How many people still don't understand what the case shred is? I talked about this in the webinar. I want people to give me an N if you still don't understand. No, I still don't understand it, or Y, I understand it. Right now in the chat, please. Okay, I'm getting a lot of Y and N. Okay, Sophia, Y and N. Okay, Tarek, N. Rachel, N. Okay. Okay, a lot of people still don't understand what the case shred is. Okay, the case shred, and it's literally just for yourself. Okay, I made it a way to get some points too. So I put this Dropbox here. It's worth 10 points. I think it's 10 or 5. I can't remember. Okay, I want to put this to bed right now. I want to be done talking about the case shred. I mentioned this in the last webinar, but again, I want this to be crystal clear. The case shred, okay, it's literally just a blueprint for creative thinking. It's a blueprint for critical thinking. That's all the case shred is. Okay. So the case shred, five points. Okay. Thank you. So the case shred is just, it's just literally like, okay, if somebody gave you, Nicole's going to laugh at this because she remembers this. If somebody gives you an engine, a car engine, okay, it's all built, it's all ready. And then somebody hands you a manual and says, this is how you disassemble it. That's what a case shred is. A case shred is literally a manual on how to shred a problem. Remember what a case is. A case is a problem. Whether it's a marketing problem, whether it's a sales problem, it's some kind of problem in some type of business, company, or organization. That's what a case is. A case analysis shred is like a manual helping you dissect it and shred it into parts. You don't have to, yeah, breaking down, exactly. Thank you, Brandon. Breaking down and extracting all, it's just for you. You'll never have to worry about the case shred again after this one assignment that I'm having you. It's basically a free 5 points. It's a freebie. All you need to do is do your best, do it, and then just throw it in that Dropbox, and it's a free 5 points. It's for you. This is just a written way of deconstructing a case because, you know, it's like somebody hands you, you know, this class is all about the case analysis. I'm trying to help you as much as possible. You're welcome, Nicole. I'm trying to help you as much as possible because I know that this is, as I said, I don't want to hide anything. I'm very transparent. This probably might be the hardest class you've ever taken here. I'm serious. And the department is very strict about this. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just saying it requires a lot of critical thinking. You have to come up with a lot on your own. On your own. It is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, don't kill the messenger. That's just the way that they want it. That's the way that they do it. But I'm telling you right now, if you really pay attention, everybody look at me right now. If you really pay attention, if you really grasp these learnings, if you really understand how to break down things and all their interrelated parts, this is going to be the difference between 60K and 120K a year. Okay, companies do not lay off problem solvers. Companies lay off people who don't have value and they don't have any benefit. They've lost all their usefulness. If you're somebody who can solve problems, believe me, you will have security for the rest of your life. Who wants security for the rest of your life? Give me a why. Give me a why if you want security for the rest of your life. Financial, emotional. Vanessa gives me 7,000 whys. Okay, good. I'm telling you. Thank you, Natalie. So this is extremely important. Okay, this is probably, I think, this is what I would say. Again, this is somebody who has 3 degrees. This is somebody who's been working in the private sector, public sector. I'm a LinkedIn consultant. I'm a private coach. I also do life coach. I also do live video marketing consulting. I also teach in education. I teach at several universities. I work 24/7. Does anybody know why I work 24/7? Do you remember the joke? Why do I work 24/7? Because, let's see if anybody gets it. Because you're awesome. Tarek, stop brown nosing, okay? I'm teasing. Why do I work kids? Well, that's a big part of it, but why do I work 24/7? You guys already forgot the joke. I'm going to give it just a second. Mortgage. Yeah, you could say that again. But that's not even the gist of it. Sophia, make sure you put that drop-down menu to all panelists and attendees. Yours is still on all panelists. Hit that blue button on top of your chat box and click down to all panelists and all attendees. Because my wife likes Louis Vuitton purses. That's why. And they're expensive. Don't get married, for crying out loud. If I was single, I'd be a millionaire. Nicole, I was going to say that. Too late, Stephen. That's why. And all you ladies out there, you know. Fellas, I'm telling you right now, fellas, you know, if you want to live in Southern California and you want to live in this unbelievably expensive lifestyle, this is in Oklahoma, guys. Mortgages, housing rates, interest rates, sales tax, property tax, it's the highest, pretty much in the top 3, top 5 highest in the entire country. So it's expensive. Yes, you need a 6-digit salary. Absolutely. And that's why I'm stressing to you, these skills are essential. Problem solving. Problem solving skills. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. What a great class. What I love about you guys is you guys are all like, you're all experienced. You're not babies. You know, you're not 18, 19-year-olds. And not that I have anything against my 18, 19-year-olds, but I love teaching my mature audiences and my mature students because you guys get it. You're in the real world. You guys get it, and I love that. Okay, so are we good on the case shred? The case shred is literally just a manual to deconstruct a case. How many people are still not certain? Give me a question mark if you're still not understanding the case. It's okay, but I want to put this to bed. We've already wasted way too much time on this. How many people still, give me a question mark if you still are uncertain what's going on with the shred, or why does the shred exist? What's the difference between a shred and a case analysis? After you drop your case shred in there, don't even think about it. In a couple of weeks, it says we have to do a case on hydrofruit. Are we still doing that? Yes. Why? Yes, that's correct, Rachel. Yeah, some people are still emailing me saying that they're having a problem, but it's not graded? What's not graded, Vanessa? Some people are still telling me that they're having problems getting the books. Guys, we're already in the third, fourth week. If you still don't have your case book, no, it is graded. The case shred is graded, but it's a free 5 points. Just turn it in. Just do it and turn it in. I'm giving you free 5 points. 5 points. How many people want me to turn it into 10 points? Do you want me to turn it into 10 points? Okay, fine. No. Marissa says no. Don't turn it into 10 points. Okay, I'll turn it into 10 points. Well, you guys, I'm such a softie. You guys are gonna get me fired. I can't believe you. It's not me. It's the department. You have to understand this. This has nothing to do with me. If it was up to me, I want everybody to do well. You guys know this. You live in the real world, for crying out loud. Okay, how many points did I say it was? 5. I'm gonna do 10. Okay, I'll do 10. Free 10 points. It's like a bonus points. Don't ever say I never did anything for you. 15. Jonathan, don't push it, okay? For 20? Jacob, you got a lot of gall. I can't believe this. And if I did well, I'm telling you, all you got to do is just complete all the steps and just turn it in. That's all you got to do. 13, meet you halfway. Boy, you guys are smart. You guys are too smart for me. You guys are some hustlers, man, some negotiators. I want to work for you guys. I want to work for you guys. If you need somebody who's good at sales, marketing, consulting, coaching, come find me, okay? I'm going to work for you guys. You guys are all going to be millionaires, I can tell, with that attitude. Okay. Yeah, Chickafil was a case analysis, yes. Okay, so I want to talk about the Going Downtown group project. This is important. Now, you guys picked some real funky names for your groups. I was actually pretty impressed. You should be, now I know the prompt says no more than 4 or 5 in your group, but this is a different class because we've got about 62 people in this class. So it's a combined online course that I know that some people may not end up in a group, but then some people are still looking to join. How many people do not have a group? Give me a I was going to say give me an emoji. This is a live stream. Give me a Y if you don't have a group. Give me a Y if you don't have a group. Just type Y or I. Just type in I or Y in the chat if you still don't have a group. Now, what you were supposed to do was, look at this, team top dogs. Really? Team executive elites. I love this. Where was the other one I liked? Academic. Yeah, team academic entrepreneurs. Way to go. So you were supposed to list the city because every group is supposed to do a different city. You've chosen Costa Mesa. Okay. Now, we may have a couple of problems with that. Now, okay, good. This is actually right. Good job, Kevin. So this is right. I want you to list everybody in your group and then also the city. And I love your team name. This is a perfect post for the group. You're going to do the same thing for your final group project as well. So not much is going to be different except for the assignment, okay? But the same concept. Excuse me. So, okay, that's exactly what I want you to do. If you haven't done that yet, please do that, okay? But that's exactly what you should be doing, and it's right down here in the Going Downtown group project member list, okay? All right, so I want to go over this prompt, okay? And again, Where do you find all information? On Titanium. Where do you find all the due dates? Where do you find the weekly schedule? On Titanium. Okay, I've even uploaded an exact sample from a fall class. I took the names off, but I even uploaded a sample of what a really, good one, what they did. Okay, I took their names off, but they picked Long Beach, and they had a really interesting, there's still a few problems with this group project, but they did a really interesting product. And I'm looking for that. That's what the department is looking for. We're looking for that kind of creativity. So let's just kind of go over. Let's just kind of go over this really quickly. Let's go over the prompt, okay, really quickly, so you guys can kind of understand what this is all about. So this is the first group project. Okay. Now, I know it says, each group should have a minimum of 4, maximum 5. Don't worry about that. How many people have way over 5? Probably everybody. Give me a Y if you have over 5 in your group. Yeah, everybody. Okay, fantastic. All right, everybody does. Okay, that's great. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, that's okay. How many people have more than 10 in their group? Eesh, I'm afraid to ask. 8 in ours. Okay, thank you, Gohar. 8 in hours. Okay. Let's see. All right. Please, if you don't have 10, 6 in hours. Okay, good, Jenny. Thank you. 6 is fine. Jenny, in the blue box above your chat box, do the drop down menu. Do all panelists, all attendees. So yeah, if there's still some people who are asking to be in your group, please be nice and please allow them to be in your group, especially if you don't have over 10. Okay. So the purpose is to develop research and problem-solving skills within a professional context to learn how to write an extended argument. Okay, so here's the situation. Each group will choose a town in Southern California. Everyone must have a different city, and choices will be first come, first served. You may choose from towns in the following counties. Now, if you have a hankering to pick a town, how many people have not picked a town yet? Put a I in the chat box. Put an I. Or here or something, or us. I don't know. Put something like that in the chat box if you have not picked a town yet. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. I was going to say you can pick, even though there's a lot of cities in Los Angeles, there's a lot of cities in Orange County, there's a lot of cities in Riverside County, there's a lot of cities in San Bernardino, in San Diego County. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. Okay. Examine the census data for the town you have chosen to identify the following. Okay, so you got median age, income. This is basically an audience analysis. Okay, the third category in the class rubric. This is an audience analysis assignment. This is actually one of my favorite assignments because I think it's the most real world. I mean, I try to pick as many, I was able to choose which group projects to do. And I think this is my favorite one because if you're thinking about literally anything, if you're thinking about starting a business or working for a business or going into sales, going into management, even going into information technology, if you don't have a clear understanding of who your audience is, how can you communicate effectively to them? You can't. So literally think of this as an exercise of really diving deep and researching an audience and coming up with a business idea, okay, that you feel would match that audience, okay? So the example in the, let's see here, I think it's over here. Yeah, so the example that I gave you, this group decided to analyze Long Beach, and based on some of the statistics and some of the research that they've done, this is a research assignment, and you have to delegate to your group. Everybody in your group should contribute. And usually there's a leader in each group. I don't get involved. This is all on you guys. This is all about team building skills. This is all about team dynamics. This is all about, your interpersonal communication. Every company, they hire people based on, will this individual, like say, if I'm going to hire Carla, it's fantastic if Carla's highly, decorated and she has a lot of experience. She's got great education. She's got a great background, but I've got a team already in place. And if she can't get along with my team and I have to release her, That's going to cost me a lot of money. Every company, I dare anybody to disagree with me, every company faces the number one cost, the biggest red that puts them in the red is turnover. Okay, it takes a lot of money and time to invest in training new people, especially you guys going for those executive career positions. So if you can't work well in a team, it's hasta la pasta. You got to work well in a team. Okay, so I don't get involved. This is all your own doing, your own group doing. Now, if there's somebody in your group who's just, I don't think we're going to have that problem in this class because everybody gets graded the same. Everybody gets graded the same. Okay, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit, but let me go into the background of the actual assignment. Okay, but everybody gets graded the same. Now, you know, if there's some kind of like 911 emergency, today's 9/11. I mean, no pun intended. But if there's some type of emergency where somebody is just absolutely not contributing, absolutely failing to communicate, absolutely not responding, and the entire group is in consensus, meaning the entire group which is contributing, like you guys are all just like, you know, hey, you know, John Doe over there is just not contributing at all. I mean, he doesn't return our emails, our texts. You know, I don't know what to tell you here. I don't know what to say. Like, we need to go out and talk to the professor because, you know, we're doing all the work. If there's a case of something like that, just let me know and I'll make note of that. Okay. But I don't get involved. For the most part, I don't get involved. It's up to you. And usually each group delegates a leader. There's probably already a leader in each group, somebody who's taken the reins and delegated responsibilities. Okay, one person can do this kind of research, one person can do the writing, or we can all write together. I know Google Docs is a beautiful program where you can all, you know, contribute to the writing of it. You know, one person can go down to the Chamber of Commerce, you know, go down to City Hall, get audience demographics, okay? So this group decided, after much research, they decided that Long Beach had a high crime rate, and they created, okay, a specific business, a specific service based on the audience demographics. Now, I'm not too worried about creativity, okay? Meaning, I'm not too worried about how cool your product is, how cool your business is. What the grading is mostly going to consist of is how much sense it makes that this product, business, service, or whatever it is, you know, relates to that specific audience, okay? Saying we're going to open up a McDonald's in Fullerton that's not going to get you a good grade, okay? No franchisees. You have to come up with something original. But I'm not worried about like don't go in depth analyzing the business. Go dive deep in the audience. Okay, does that make sense? Give me why if that makes sense. You don't need to worry too much about the business or idea. Even though this is a fun assignment, you can really come up with something. I want you to come up with something original. I want you to come up with something original. Okay, I'm going to talk about different things you can do to understand your city or your demographic. You know, like for example, if somebody's doing Irvine, okay, if you really dive deep into Irvine, okay, you're going to find that Irvine is probably predominantly family-oriented town, mostly families, single-family homes. The median income is probably around 70 to 90,000 a year. So you've got upper middle class, you've got family. It wouldn't make any sense, okay, to open up like a nightclub in Irvine, right? Probably not going to do really well. If it doesn't make sense that it's, you know, congruent with the audience that you've dissected. And I think this is going to be a really fun assignment. I really truly think it will, because it really, you're going to tap into those skills that you need in the real world. As a matter of fact, I used to live in Irvine, and there hasn't been a nightclub there in years that's been successful. Many have tried. I think that's why I brought up that example. Many have tried and failed miserably because it's just not the right type of audience. It's just not the right type of audience, right? Now, what would make sense to open up, you know, some type of business, product, good, or service in Irvine, something family-oriented, yes? Does that make sense? But you're not being graded on how amazing your business is. You're not being graded on if your business succeeds or not. You're not being graded on how you're going to market your business. No, 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 no. I don't need like graphics of, you know, menus or whatever, or marketing flyers, nothing like that. This assignment is all about audience, okay? Audience demographic And I'm going to talk about psychographic in just a second here too. So median age, income, racial makeup, social demographics, family, married versus single, etc., and any other interesting information available. So anything you can come up with. Now, what do I mean by that? This is something that I like to call, there's demographics, which is really just metrics and analytics, median age, income, things of that nature. And then there's psychographics, which really have a lot to do with like kind of the emotional kind of side of your audience. What are their interests? What are their hobbies? What are their political beliefs? What type of activities do most people in that town, partake in? What's the community like? Okay, what's the vibe, the feel of the community? Any other interesting, useful information, which is why I highlighted it in the actual prompt. This is where you can really dig deep and find even more information to convince your audience, which is basically me, but think of your audience as the audience of the town, that this business idea would make absolute perfect sense to open up within that specific city or town, okay? Now, what if the city is okay, hold on a second. I've got a question here. This is from Vanessa. What if the city is a tourist destination? Would you rather us focus on the residents? Not necessarily. Do your research. If your research, like Laguna Beach is a perfect example. Like Laguna Beach's economy booms in the summer and during Christmas time. Why? Because of the festivals, because of all the tourism. So having a business that you don't want to create a business that completely negates the locals, but if it's like a place like Laguna Beach, if it's a place like Anaheim, with Disneyland, if it's a city that it's a tourist destination, that's something that you need to answer for yourself, Vanessa. Let the research do all the informing. Does that make sense, you guys? If you really dive deep into research, think of this as a research project. Thank you, Nicole. Let the research dictate, okay? And because I check all your sources, I check when I do the grading, and when the grading is conducted, we all check all the resources. We check the town. We dissect the town too to make sure that it made sense that this project, never mind the fact that you have to communicate it, never mind the fact that you have to have literacy, strategy, style, and all that. But as far as content goes, it needs to make sense that, okay, yes, opening up this business in this specific niche is a total home run. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? That's a good question, Vanessa. Yeah, that's a great question. This is a fun assignment, I'm telling you, and it's really, really useful. Now, notice here that I put, you may want to take a trip to the community as well, just to see what the lifestyle is like. Interview some residents for anecdotal information. I think this is absolutely important. If you're doing a city that you're super familiar with, that's one thing. But at the same time, don't make assumptions that you know what I mean? Like somebody might say, well, yeah, I was raised in Long Beach, and I know that Long Beach, is predominantly, minorities in this specific part of Long Beach or what have you. And this is what they all want. Don't just assume that. Do your research. And I think going into town and talking to business owners, because they've been, especially old time business owners who've been, conducting business within that city for years and years, they know the true fabric and nature, and they know the pulse of that city. So that's a great way to get information. You could even, as a group, put together 5 or 10 questions that you may want to ask. You can even do it over the phone. You don't necessarily have to go into town, but start looking up local businesses, especially businesses that have been there for a long time. And trust me, business owners have the biggest egos on the planet. They love talking about themselves. They love talking about their cities, and they love talking about their towns. And if you say, I'm from Cal State Fullerton and we're doing a project on your business, their ego will go, and they'll love to talk to you. Trust me. We're doing a audience demographic study of your town, and we felt that you were the perfect person to talk to. Trust me, they will give you valuable information, and you can cite that. Cite that in APA. The APA guide will show you how to cite all the resources. So any other interesting, useful information, plus you may want to take a trip. Don't just do everything out of a textbook. Don't just do research out of a book. Try to get a little bit more hands-on, okay? Your task in a correctly formatted memo report addressed to me, Describe your selected town in detail, focusing on demographics. Identify, look at what's in italics. Identify a particular type of business that would appeal to the majority demographic you have identified through your research. Avoid suggesting things like franchises. Hey, we're going to open up a Wendy's in Long Beach. That doesn't do anything. That's completely uncreative and shows lack of effort. Don't do that, please. Think about unusual businesses or services that would particularly appeal to the local residents. Now, to answer your question earlier, Vanessa, um, notice how it says local residents there. Well, if it's a tourist destination, I definitely think you would have to incorporate something if the predominant economy is geared towards, the foot traffic and inclusion and immigration of tourists, then you definitely should consider that. I think that's super, super important, and you should definitely consider that. Use any sources that seem appropriate, but make sure you go beyond the surface. Okay, this is important. Make sure you go beyond the surface. Learn what you can about the town's history. What direction are they going in? Is there a social or political climate that you should account for? If you're talking about San Francisco is probably liberal with a capital L. If you're talking about Orange County, or if you're talking about, let's say, Laguna Hills, I don't know. I think they're predominantly conservative. Something like Laguna Hills or Laguna Woods. What do residents want in their community? After all, there's no point in recommending a skate park for a community populated by retirees. Do you like that little joke right there, guys? Humor me and say yes. Yeah, I mean, opening up a skate park for a community like, Vanessa, opening up a skate park for a community populated by, senior citizens in their 80s, probably not the best idea. Keep track of your sources, cite them in the text, and list them in your references. Incorrect attribution causes a substantial reduction in your report grade. Old people can skate too. Okay, well, how old are we talking here, Nicole? That'd be kind of cool. What if that business just, yeah, maybe that is a real terrible assumption, isn't it, you guys? It's totally stereotypical, isn't it? Yeah, what if somebody opened up a skate park, in Leisure World, let's say, or Laguna Woods, and all of a sudden you see this revolution, right? All these 80 and 90-year-olds just busting, like kick flips, Jacob, like Tony Hawk, wheelchairs. Thank you, Nicole. I deserve a wheelchair. Okay. So make sure that you cite everything. That's actually really important. The department is very, very strict on citation. And I've got APA guides in course documents. Now, this assignment is worth up to 100 points. Okay. Try to be as creative as you can. But again, worry more about the audience demographic than you do the actual business. But make sure it's just something interesting and original. Now, here's something that I need to stress, and I'm not going to repeat this. Notice what it says right here. Each group member needs to upload a copy of the report for grading purposes. Does that mean that every single person in the group is doing a different report? Give me a Y or N. Thank you. I'm seeing a lot of N's. Good. That's the right answer. Okay, good. That's the right answer. You're not doing different reports. You're all working on one report. But again, I want to stress this. Just for grading purposes, each member needs to upload a copy of that report for grading. Okay, just a copy of it. Everybody should get a copy to it. Nicole, let me see what Nicole says here. Do you want our notes and research too? Well, just properly cite it. It should be within the report. Use this report sample as an example. Okay, notice how they cite sources in the actual text. Like right here, they cite a source. Long Beach police argue that there is also a correlation between fewer incarcerations and the increase in overall crime. That's an actual source, and then you'll have a bibliography or a works cited page at the very bottom, at the very end, okay? Does that make sense, Nicole? I don't need your notes and research. No, just make sure everything's cited, because I'm going to look up all your citations. No, I don't need your notes. I just need the finalized report. Is there a minimum, maximum page length you're looking for? Okay, Melissa, good question. So less is always more. You want to be as concise as possible, but I purposely did not put a page count or a word count. Or did I? Maybe I did. Oh, it says here, okay, on the second page. It says here 3 to 5 pages. Okay, but here's the thing I want to say about that, and this is why I didn't. Here's the thing about that. I'm looking for quality, not quantity. I think that you should be able to do this within 3 to 5 pages, which is why I put that there. Less is more. It's a good exercise in being concise. If you go over 5 pages, I'm not going to mark you down. However, if a lot of the stuff you're doing based on the rubric, if you're repeating yourself and it's redundant and that's the reason why you're going over 5 pages, ooh, that's bad. But if it's necessary to go over 5 pages, what I mean is if you have so much information that's absolutely necessary to communicate why this business fits with this demographic, that's fine. I'm not going to penalize you. So if you go over 5 pages, Melissa, I'm not going to penalize you if it's absolutely significant and necessary, okay? Use the format. Yes, you're welcome, Melissa, anytime. Use the format suggested on the Purdue OWL memo report guide. That's in course documents. Use correct memo format. Use titles. Include your reference page with at least 5 citations. That should be a knock. That should be a walk in the park. That's nothing. 5 sources is nothing. Make sure you proofread and carefully and spell check. And again, always we're using the class rubric for grading that. Okay. Wait a minute, Vanessa. What are you asking me? Are the 2 papers that are due week 7 and week 8, are they both part of the group project or is one of them individual? Hold on a second before I get to that. There's only one final group project and then there's a group presentation. The group presentation is you're going to be doing like a PowerPoint video presentation, okay? Because we're not actually meeting for presentations. But yeah, there is a presentation required. So you can do that in iMovie or whatever Windows Media. How many people have ever done that before? How many people have ever recorded a presentation and recorded their audio delivery? Give me a Y if you've done that before. Yeah, pretty easy stuff. Okay, Gohar, ask people in your group, those of you who say, and yes, you can do a Prezi, just make sure that there's audio that I can actually hear you. Ask people in your group, they'll show you how to do it. Just Google it, it's very, very easy. Any computer that you have at home should be able to do that and execute that. We'll come to that bridge, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Maybe I'll do an entire tutorial on how to use, yeah, maybe I'll do that, how to use video and audio and record a presentation. Yes, Prezi is awesome. Prezi is definitely 21st century, so you should definitely be using Prezi. PowerPoint is still the kind of go-to, but Prezi is a really cool thing too, and maybe I'll show you how to do Prezi. Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, any questions about the group project? Vanessa, let me see what you're talking about. Let me try and clarify. So you're saying week 7 and 8. What's due week 7? There's nothing due week 7. I have a webinar that I want you to watch that talks about the Speaks videos. You're going to be working on this final analytical report, which is basically the final group project. And then week 8, we're going to have to figure out a way. You wrote something on the board. I wrote something on the board? What board? When did I write on the board? Well, just listen to this then. I don't know specifically what that might be referring to, but if I did, let me just clarify right now. Hopefully this will help. We're going to have to figure out how you can share your videos. But it's the group presentations are going to be due, okay? And the presentations are individual, okay? So meaning, and I have to put a Dropbox for that. There isn't even a Dropbox for those presentations. Meaning, I want you to. This is kind of important because it's the same thing. You're doing basically a 10 to 15 minute presentation on what your findings were. It's like a condensed presentation, like an executive summary in presentation form and speech form of your final analytical report. So they're not too. If this is what your question is, They're not two separate projects. Does that make sense? The speech or presentation is based on the group project. Does that make sense, Vanessa? And I apologize if that wasn't communicated clearly. But yes, this final analytical project, this group project, is the same. You're going to be doing a speech based on that, what you come up with. Basically, like think of it this way. Here's a good way to put it into frame and to put it in context. The final analytical report, if you look at Linda Moreno's guide and course documents, she's a great writer, Linda Moreno. I love her. She's fantastic. It's a long, very researched, very laborious, heavy, cumbersome research project. Think of it this way. The presentation is if the CEO or the board of directors say, hey, Vanessa, I want you to come give a presentation based on your report and kind of really give us the highlights of what it's all about. That's what the 10 to 15 presentation is. Does that make sense? Give me a yes, Vanessa, if that makes sense. Okay, yes, good. So no, it's not two separate things, if that answers your question. Yeah, thank you. Again, this final group project is not due until Sunday the 24th. It's only the 11th right now. No. You're still doing a group presentation, but you're being graded individually, and I'll go over that. The Speaks video, you're being graded kind of on eye contact, tone, body language, how fast you go, how well you manage your pauses, and things of that nature. There's a Speaks rubric. And because we're not actually doing the speeches in person, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, or it won't be so, it won't be so by the book, that sort of grading process. There'll be a little bit of leeway, just a little bit, because it's not in person. Okay, does that make sense? But you don't have to worry about that too much. Just focus on doing that final group project, and then the presentation is basically like a baby, a sort of spawned from that group project. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vanessa. No, these are good questions. Not a problem at all. Any questions about the group project, the Going Downtown group project? What's expected of you? You have a group example. You have your task ahead of you. You guys have a lot of research to do. There is an example that you can follow. Okay, you can kind of get an idea of how they wrote it. I really like the way that they segmented the categories. Okay. This is a really good example to look at. Okay. If there's no other questions about that, I'll let you guys get to it, because you guys need to start delegating who's going to be doing what, and you need to start researching like ASAP. And by the way, you can use the same people in this group. If you get along with the people in this group, oh yeah, definitely. Yes, Tarek. Yeah. How many people like the webinars? Give me a Y. Okay, fantastic. Okay, yes, we'll definitely, I think it's important. I think it's really important to stay. It also three-dimensionalizes. Being a live video streaming consultant, I believe in this more than anything. I think it personalizes online education. I think online education, I don't know how many other professors are doing it. I hope all your other professors are. But how many people are taking other online classes? Give me a yes. Give me a Y if you're taking, are they doing webinars? Let me know if they're doing webinars. Say no webinar or yes webinar to other professors. Rachel says no. Yeah, I'm a big believer in them. I think they're really, really helpful, and I get it. I know online classes are not the easiest thing, especially for us generations that were born before the internet. It's not the easiest thing on the planet. So I try to do that as much as possible. I try to help. I know this is a difficult class, y'all. I know it is, but I promise you, do not underestimate the power of critical thinking and creative problem solutions. Automation is going to take over everything. What do I mean by that? The robots are coming, y'all. They're going to take over everything. Industrial capital will be there'll be zero jobs in industrial capital. But in intellectual capital, creative thinking, problem solutions, communication, robots can't do that yet. They will. AI, yeah, Jacob, yeah, they will, but not yet. Okay, not in our lifetime. They're not even close. No, not yet, Tarek, but that probably will in the next couple of days. I'll get that out. Yeah, thank you. For now, focus on your group project. That's very, very important. Yeah, no problem, Tarek. I will definitely get that finished ASAP. I might even start some of it tomorrow, okay? Any other questions, any other concerns, any other comments? Okay, that's a good question, Vanessa. So Vanessa asks, with the presentation, you want us to be physically in the video, or is audio voiceover okay since you mentioned eye contact? I'm going to have to double check. I'm going to have to double check that. I know that the department has, the department mentioned video, but if they'll allow voiceover, I just need to talk to the dean, and then I'll figure that out, because usually we do make it video so that we can actually see you and you're actually giving a presentation, a sort of teleconference presentation. Tarek, just email me for that, okay? You just follow the rubric. The rubric is everything. Yes, I understand, Tarek. Just email me and contact me. So Vanessa, just to get back to your question, let me double check with that. I will double check with that to make sure if you can do a voiceover type, just presentation slide voiceover, or if my guess is they're going to say you have to do video. So because part of the grade is attire and presentation, like what you're wearing. So for now, focus on it being video. I think video is where it's going to be. I think, but I'll double check that, and I'll let you know. Okay, Vanessa, thank you. That's a good question. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, I really appreciate you being a part of the webinar. I really wanted to go in depth with the group project. Make sure. Yeah, sure, Veronica. Make sure that you please make sure that you actually have solidified your groups. Please make sure that you've delegated responsibility. Please make sure that you've exchanged contact information, even though you can message. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Betty. That's exactly right for the case shreds. Yes, exactly. Even so, the case you'll be shredding will really be, the hydrofruit case. Yes, exactly. So even though you can use this message system on titanium, I think it's also important. To get each other's email information, maybe even, dare I say, your phone numbers. I think that's important, so you guys can understand each other and call each other just in case something comes up. And please make sure you turn it in on time. And I'm going to do a little quick quiz. Does every group just turn in one report? Is it just one report per group? Okay, Arturo says no. Steven says no. I see a lot of no's. Okay, what is it? Tarek says individual. Yes. You're still doing one report, but just for grading purposes, everybody is turning in a copy of that report. Okay, you still get graded the same. Everybody's going to get the same grade on the report, but it's important that everybody uploads. No, Vanessa, it is one report per group. Vanessa, you're wrong. It is one report per group, but everybody's turning in a copy of that report for grading purposes. So let's say Vanessa, Gohar, Tarek, Wiseman, and Jonathan are in my group. We're all working on one group, but each of us is going to upload a copy of that for grading purposes. How many people are still confused about that? Give me an I or give me a me. How many people still don't understand what that means? Okay, good. Okay, good. Remember, one more question. Yes, the hydrofruit case shred we do in about 2 weeks is the same. Oh, no. No, the hydrofruit. Yes, okay, Vanessa says that's what I meant. Same paper sent individually through Summit. One more question. The hydrofruit case shred is the same as the case thread example? No, Betty, you're going to be actually doing a case analysis on that. So again, remember, the case shred is just merely, okay, the case shred, you're actually doing, okay, this is for your own good, okay? This case shred is for your own good, okay, for this, to help you kind of approach this problem. And then the in-class performance evaluation, okay, that's entirely different. This is the case analysis. But yes, you can use the same, yeah, Betty, you're right, that you can use the same example, yeah, as you did in the previous one. Yes, that's exactly right. Okay, guys, so this file isn't super huge. If you have any further questions, you can always email me, but we're going to stop for now because this file will get super huge. Oh, yes, Gohar, quick question. Should we include reference and case analysis? The examples don't include one. No, 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 you don't need to include references. No, you don't need to include references. You come up with your own analysis and you communicate that effectively, following the examples and following the 5 steps. No, you don't need it. You don't need references. You only need references for the group projects. That's a good question. Yes. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys get value from this. And I'm going to post the link. The link will be a link to the, you're welcome. The link will be a YouTube private, yes, Tarek, absolutely. The link will be to a private university YouTube account. So it's unlisted, just to let you know. It's only for us, people who can only in this class can see it. And that link will be posted. So if there's anything you think you missed, you can watch the replay as many times as you want. Okay, guys? Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And again, email me if you have any questions. Now, really quickly, before you guys go, the emails have been, remember I said in the first webinar, keep the emails within business hours, meaning Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. I've been getting a lot of emails from at midnight on Thursday or midnight on Saturday. And I do respond, but guys, please, I do have to have some kind of life. So please try to keep those questions, especially if they're really important, try to keep those questions in between business hours, please, Monday through Friday, okay? All right, thank you guys. I will see you guys again shortly, very soon, and talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.